Calling is making a comeback. It's Mike Novak from the Novak Real Estate Team, part of REAL Brokerage. And for this week's coaching video, I want to share with you some insights I found just from looking at my own team's analytics. This does not mean that there's a change going on across the whole markets, but in our market, what I noticed when I looked at the data the other day, I noticed that our pickup rate on the phone is double what it was the same time a year ago. Over the last 3 years, we've rapidly experienced this decline in pickup rates as spam blockers get really prevalent and the carriers start blocking numbers. They're sending spammy type text messages, or maybe somebody calls too many times and the person blocks them. Whatever case it may be, the pickup rate had really dropped off over the last couple of years, down to about 7% last year. And that's why we've leaned so heavily into text messaging, and we leverage text a lot to get to phone calls. We call those targeted dials. Like, we've used the text to warm the person up, where a call now makes a lot of sense and is the next step in the process, logically speaking. So when I looked at the data last week with our ISA, I realized that we had a 14.7% pickup rate. That's really good, and that's the best I've seen on our team in a long time, like in a couple of years. And so we are going to start calling more, and I encourage you to consider the same thing. It is very easy in this industry to swing too far one direction. Maybe you swing too far to just calls and you abandon text, and that hurts your conversion. Or maybe you swing the other direction and you stop calling, you just leverage text and automation too much. I think we've gone a little bit too far when it comes to the automation of texting. It's easier for the agent, and so they tend to default to that, when instead a lot of the connection really occurs voice to voice. It's really difficult to connect at an emotional level with somebody over text, but when you can hear their voice and the subtle cues in their tonality, everything changes. So who should you call if you want to lean back into calling? Well, new leads, of course. When somebody registers on your website, give them a call. Try to figure out what's got them thinking about making a move. Get specifics on what they're looking for. Be a resource that's helpful. Don't be pushy, but be helpful. So call your new leads, of course. I would also call all of your new leads that have not been contacted yet, that have registered within the last month. There's some recency to that, right? Like, these people were recently on your site and you haven't spoken to them yet. Call those people. You don't need to call them 3 times a day, but call them maybe 3 or 4 times a week until you reach them or until they respond to you, and your conversion rate will go up. The other type of person that you should be calling is what I call a behavioral-based follow-up. So someone takes a certain behavior and you reach out to the person. Of course, that's a great time to give someone a call, check in, see if they're still thinking about making a move, maybe their plans have changed, something like that. But a priority type alert, if you use Sierra Interactive or Wilopo, is what I'm talking about, where that lead views a home 3 or more times. They were gone from the site for 6 months, they come back to the site. They request a showing. All these types of scenarios make a lot of sense to pick up the phone and give that person a call. If you think about how many appointments you need to set, you should set about really right around, out of the people you speak to, 5% of those should turn into appointments. So kind of think about that in mind. If you speak to 100 people, then there should be right around that 5 appointments, something in that range, as a good benchmark if your calls are high quality. So hope that's helpful. If you've got questions about how to talk to people when you get them on the phone, if you're nervous about calling them and you don't know what to say, reach out to me. I can give you some help on that as well. Talk to you soon.